Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a new offering from Mongoose for the Fifth Frontier War, the Riverland. I just did a video about a week and a half ago grousing that there wasn't much support for Fifth Frontier War, and there has been good support as far as source books, in this case an adventure. That's been fine. I'm grumbling for more smaller things in between. I don't even like a fan poll or anything just to keep us engaged. I go to Godzilla Fest every year here in Chicago, called G-Fest, and one thing G-Fest has been doing to keep interest alive between cons is they've been reaching out in the form of polls and things, little contests, which monster would be which monster, and you can vote. And that's really helped the engagement, and that's really what I'm encouraging from Mongoose. But enough. The Fifth Frontier War, the Riverland. So this tells us an element of the Fifth Frontier War. The Riverland is an area right near the border of Imperial space, and it's very important as far as the theater of war goes. And since this is an adventure and it's a brand new one, I'm not going to be going through the entire book. In fact, I'm going to limit how much I go through. I'm going to talk in general terms about a few things I liked about the book, but that's really all I'm going to do. So it was written by Martin J. Doherty. M.J. Doherty always does a really good job. And then we get the table of contents, we get the timing, location, and Zodani Travelers. I have to admit, when I first read the premise of this, before I read the adventure, I kind of gave it an eye roll. Zodani Adventurers, I don't know how I'm going to want to do this. Travelers is, Zodani, how are we going to be doing this? You got to create an entire new crew to do this, these adventures. It's really not just one adventure, it's a set of adventures. But eye roll taken back. I like the idea, even if you have to just come up with a brand new team. This is worth it. I like the perspective that we got of being of the Zodani consulate, what we do and don't do as far as members of the consulate, how we're living the consulate, in this case, serving the consulate by going in and trying to disrupt some of the war efforts of the Imperium during the Fifth Frontier War. So we get some nice looks there. We get the referee's information. I just want to show this because it shows what the Riverland is. There's the Riverland, and here is Imperial space. So it's very important right there, and it's a jumping off point, and it's an important area to keep. So basically in this adventure, and I'm not giving up anything you wouldn't learn in the first few pages, in this adventure you are a group of Zodani infiltrators who are trying to come in and subvert some of the war effort of the Imperium. Now, I'm painting with a very broad brush here because I don't want to give away any details. But the idea at first, I have to admit, like I said, eye roll. But then I looked at it a little bit once I started reading this a little bit, and I started really getting into it. I liked the perspective of being from the consulate and some of the subtle differences between the Zodani consulate and the Third Imperium. The most remarkable that I noted early on is the advertising. The Zodani really don't have advertising per se. They will go ahead and do a kind of a consumer's report version of what the product is, and then you decide based on the merits of that report whether it's for you or not. As opposed to all kinds of hype and glamour and having a star come out and show you how to get your shirts the whitest, the Zodani just present the facts. So it was kind of an interesting paradigm to what we're used to in Earth/the Third Imperium. It was just interesting to see. And then we get the timeline of operations in 1107. This is a nice overview of the start of the war up until some of the current times of the war. I liked that it was included here. It also tells you when this particular adventure started. That's already been published by Mongoose. It tells you when this adventure happens. It's just very nice. One of the other things I liked about this book a great deal, and I'm not going to go any further in the book, by the way, you get a lot of characters. Lot of characters in this book. You get some good hardware. You get a nice infiltrator ship. You just get some goodies, and you get some stuff you can really, really role play. If you go into this guns a-blazing, you're going to lose. This one is not about guns a-blazing. This one is about subtlety, subterfuge, and infiltration. One of the things I liked about this is we get a nice, deeper look at the Einigavar, which is a guerrilla group in the Third Imperium that thinks the Third Imperium should be overthrown, and may or may not be working directly with the Zodani, the Outworld Coalition. It's interesting how they interact and what you're doing with them. And Some of the adventures as they're written, I would be modifying a little bit just because I don't think I've ever played an adventure exactly as written. I'd like to modify it, kind of grab it and make it my own. I'd also change some things that would be peculiar to my Traveler universe rather than straight out of the books. So, I mean, that's certainly what you're here for. That's what you're supposed to do with this kind of thing. But overall, yes, I give it 2 thumbs up. I was surprised. I went into this book expecting not to really care either way about it. I expected it to be a 2-star, who cares? Oh, it's an adventure, that's fine. I was wrong. I like this. I like a lot of what you can build. And even if you're not going to do the Zodani end of it, and your travelers are involved peripherally in the Fifth Frontier War, there's still a lot of stuff in this book you can use. Your current group of travelers can encounter a group of Zodani infiltrators. And maybe you've got to deal with it from the Third Imperium end if you want to keep it in your ongoing game. Or this is a great jumping off point for a brand new Traveler campaign. So I do recommend it. I was surprised. I have to admit, every once in a while you read something, you go, I don't know if that's going to be for me. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad it's in my library. I'm very excited about it. Now, Mongoose, come on, follow up. You've got some excitement going from this. Let's follow up, do some other stuff. Give us some polls. Who's our favorite politician in the Third Imperium? Who do we think should lead it? Is Archduke Norris all he should be? Give something, just a little bit of fan inclusion. That's all I'm asking. But in the meantime, until we get that, this is a great thing to spend your time with. This could be a tremendous campaign. It could be a many night game, depending on how deep you want to go with it. And of course, there's stuff in here that once you do it, your players can take you areas you never thought of that aren't called out in the adventure, and you're going to have to go ahead and do that, and that can lead to all kinds of stuff, as any GM of any game knows. No plan survives contact with the players. So I liked it. I was really surprised. I went into it expecting not to care either way about it. I was wrong, way wrong. Very excited. I enjoyed the Riverland. I liked the background we got on the Riverland. I love the background on Zodani Society that's called out here. It's just a very well done job all the way around. So hats off to Mongoose, keeping Fifth Frontier War alive and thriving, and I absolutely recommend it. So that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's keep the channel growing too. Subscriptions are way down. It's springtime here in North America, so maybe that's why. A lot of people are on vacation for school breaks. Spring breaks from school, where the kids are out and a lot of families vacation. I'm thinking that's part of what's going on. I don't know. But in any case, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. And I'll see you next time on page 121.